Okay, audience, let me ask you a rhetorical question. How many of you have felt like a failure? Maybe you have an anxiety that keeps you up at night or keeps you trouble throughout the day that makes you think that, that you think that other people think that you're, a, a failure, an easy mark, a project for them. Maybe because they're a part of this distractive, defiant culture, they're so tethered to their phone they think everybody else should be too. Well, we're going to take a little journey down this. Hi, I'm Jimi Hendrix, and this episode is called You Are Not a Failure on Empower Your Pattern 2.0. I'm James Hendrix, member of Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, success, confidence, and drive coach, and founder of James Hendrix Empowerment. I believe there are patterns to help us receive more, help us live a better and extraordinary life right now. I believe there are spiritual and temporal tips to help you overcome the adversities of everyday life. So if you come with me, I will show you these patterns. Let's go. Yeehaw! Hello, everybody. Jimmy here. I want to talk to you about this. It's funny how my good friend and life consultant Marie mentioned this. People need to be told that they're not a failure. And in a way, that's what I do. I come on the air, even if people was to consult with me. I am a success, confidence, and thrive coach. And what is a failure in the world standard? And is it necessarily a failure in God's standard? I remember when I was in college, my junior year, I took the room with this guy named, you guys know the pseudonym name because his name's not really worth mentioning, Charlie Nation. And every time that he would be exasperated with me, and he would say stuff like, "You're a loser, you're a wuss, and you're a failure." Okay, and so I start what's known as my first senior year in college. And the weekends, and sitting there along my thoughts. I mean, I had a TV that had like only 3 channels. They didn't have smartphones back then. Okay, it's fall of 1995. I'm dating myself here. But, all they had to keep you company was like the radio and cassette tapes and CDs. And there were times when I would sit there and cry, thinking that I was a failure. And then there was a verse. Now, granted, it probably means differently than what it originally was. But we're going to go ahead and go to that verse. I think I remember around about where it was. It's been a while. Be patient with me. I'm going to figure it out where it is and let you know where it is so that you can feel some of this power. Okay. It wasn't the first place where I thought I'd check. Once again, be patient with me. It's been a while since I have looked at this verse. It's not there either. Well, I'm not sure which Bible, but it's one of Paul's writings. How it says, we are not reprobate. And the Lord said, take out reprobate and put failure. He said, you're not a failure, Jimmy. And I said, but Charlie Nation said that I was. He said, look at Charlie Nation. He flunked out of college his freshman year. He said, yes, you made a silly mistake of rooming with him. But he flunked out of college his freshman year. You stuck it all the way up through your first junior year. And of course, I had 3 of them because I switched majors once. And I'd had 3 different majors throughout college, but I got stuff done. But the fact of the matter is, a failure in the eyes of the world is a lot different from what I see as a failure in the eyes of God. And if the world is labeling you a failure, well, I don't better look in the dang mirror for a change. Because you know what? If you fail, it's just a chance for you to get back up. It's like the Toby Mac song. I don't know what the title is, but the chorus says, it's never too late to get back up again. You may be knocked down, but not out forever. You get up and do these things. It's funny. I really got my motivation because this past weekend, I went to a virtual edition of a convention called Emerge, which is put in by ACN Incorporated. And the thing is that they taught us is, a failure is not something that, like say, a celebrity might say. It's not what's in what the news might say. And even one of the guys said, all you news people, shut your pie hole. And I agree. I just got through saying that on my podcast show, the James A. Hendricks School of Leadership. And, the celebrities and the news and people around you that are just sucked into the culture. I'll just be honest with you. This is bunk. This is crap. And I'll tell you something. The only way you are a failure is if you set your mind to be. And who is going to be nuts enough to say, I'm a failure. I'm a loser, give up. I'm a failure. I'm a loser, give up. You know who that reminds me of? The kid I roomed with in college. I'm a failure. I'm a loser, give up. I mean, come on. Wake up, see reality. I'm a failure. I'm a loser, give up. Give up. But that reminds me of a song that came out when I think I was in high school. I think it's called I'm a Loser, Baby. I heard that song, and kids in high school walk around singing it in the hallways. And I was like, whatever. Because it was 1990. I was a junior and senior at Permian High School. Kids walking the hallways at the high school, at the School for the Blind, singing that crap. And for a time, I quit listening to popular music. I'm like, they're going to be talking crap about being a failure. I don't want to hear it. Our culture is so messed up that it's in a hurry to label people a failure. And who do you think is behind that culture? Who do you think created it? Ding dong, the enemy of our soul, Lucifer himself, he created this. He's the one walking around telling people, you're a failure. You're a failure, give up. You're a failure. You're a failure, give up. Finally, it took something cataclysmic as my mother dying. Not my mother, my grandmother dying. And I remember one night in particular, on my knees at the foot of my dorm room bed, surrendering my life to Christ. And he says, I don't care what anybody says about you, you are not a failure. But the sad part is, for about 3 months, that little voice, you're a failure. You're a failure, give up. You're a failure. You're a failure, give up. And then, the weekend of Easter 1996, I met my beautiful ex-wife, Chris. I will not speak ill of her, okay? I will not speak ill of her. And some of you are probably thinking, what is this? You won't speak ill of your ex? What's wrong with you? No, there's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me in saying that. Because when it did happen, for 22 years I was calling myself a failure in marriage and undeserving. And God came to me one morning about a year ago and said, Jimmy, stop that. You are not that way at all. But when my ex-wife came along and we were dating, engaged, and married, the beauty of it, she refused to let me say I'm a failure. That was the beauty of it. And she'd always tell me, she said, and honey, and every time that you fail forward. It's your chance to get back up again. See, here's the thing. It's a good thing I decided to take a break from doing series for a while, at least until January, and then speak on my heart. Because, guys, you're not a failure. Stop listening to the culture, okay? I also encourage you to be selective who you listen to as far as news. If that person is semi-helpful and is willing to bless your life, that's one thing. But this, everything's bad and blah, 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 shut up. Don't want to hear it. I'm just saying what I'm saying. Some people say that I'm an entertainer. But I sometimes speak and entertain to make a point. That some of these things that our culture wants us to give into is nothing but idiocy. And this constant voice that comes to you and say, you're a failure. It's the same dang thing. Okay? I've been telling you guys this. It's the same dang thing repackaged. And so, we got to put a stop to it. Now, I hope you enjoy listening to Empower Your Pattern 2.0. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and become a part of the adventure. This is Jimi Hendrix saying until next time, don't just sit there and take it. Build your dreams so you can take it. Share this with Mama San, Papa San, and everyone. Do what others don't so you can be what others won't. And do what others won't so you can go out there and have what others can't. Choose, act, and pursue happiness. God bless each and every single one of you. And remember this, you're not a failure. God bless you. Take care.